Hi everybody and welcome to my latest video. This is going to be like another one of my tips for beginner resellers, so it might not be appropriate for everyone, but what I'm going to talk about is actually quite important. It's something I have touched on in my past videos, but I thought I'd make a specific video about this, and that is how much profit do you actually make. I'm guilty, like a lot of other people, I'm guessing, that when the ka-ching goes off and you've sold something and you think, wow, you've just made yourself a really nice profit. Oh, I've had £100 or £200 turnover day. Turnover is a great indicator of how much you're selling. However, at the end of the day, what matters as well is how much profit you're left with, and sometimes it's surprisingly a lot less than you'd like to think. And for that, I'm going to give an example of myself. I've not been selling massive amounts recently, so don't expect massive figures. But this is a nice, simple way of explaining stuff, and it will help hopefully the resellers out there that are just starting to realize the importance, because it's such a simple and fundamental basic. Sometimes I think it gets overlooked. Now, I'm going to show you guys a little spreadsheet. Now, I used to fill this spreadsheet out on a daily basis with every sale I used to get, but I quickly realized it's not an efficient way to do things, and now I just use it to calculate, say, sometimes, if I'm selling something, what kind of profit am I making, just for kind of inquiries. I find that you get more than enough information from eBay and PayPal's website, where you can print off your weekly, monthly, yearly sales, and as long as you keep a tally of what you've spent, you can obviously work out your profit, and from that, when it comes down to, and your expenses when it comes to sorting your taxes out. So I use this more as an example setter. Now, what I've got here is, on the just yesterday, I sold a few things that were nice. I only sold 3 items yesterday, so peak season hasn't kicked off for me. But then again, my listings are still sluggish, to say the least. The amount of items I'm listing, but yeah, I'm still finding time to make videos. But anyway, I'm going off point. Here are 3 items that I sold. I may have only sold 3 items, but they were decent value, so I made, in total, about 90 odd pounds roughly, in terms of my sales. Now, reason why I want to show you this is because all of these items were bought at great prices and sold at great prices. So the first item I picked up was a Les Paul Xbox guitar, Xbox Guitar Hero guitar. I only paid £2 for it. It sold for 30. Now, I paid £1.50 in eBay fees, and that's because I'm a business seller, so I get better rates than a standard seller. Normally, standard seller on this would pay £3 because it's 10%, but it's 5%, so it's only £1.50. PayPal fees are always calculated at 3.4% plus another 20 pence. So PayPal fees were £1.22, and my delivery cost, because once it was all packaged up, it was just over a kilo, and I sent it via Hermes because it's tracked, and it cost £3.78. So my total costs for selling it were £6.50, not including my actual buying cost. So total cost really was £8.50. But anyway, I ended up selling it, like I said. My sale price was £30 from £2, so you'd think that's massive, but your net total is 23.49, and by the time you take away your cost, your initial investment, so in this case £2, I made 21.49 out of that £30. That was actual profit, and that's one of my highest ones, and that actually works out to be a 71% profit on return. Profit on return is a great way of telling you basically you're working out a percentage of your return on an investment, really. It's a great tool to give you an idea on how much profit you're making, and obviously you want that number to be as high as possible. So 71% is very high. I'm very happy with that. To give you an example, of retailers like chocolate companies out there, like I used to work for, they work on profit margins of about 15 to 20% in most instances. So that's when you work it out according to recommended prices. So 71% profit and return is pretty damn good. And like I said, the actual profit, however, was £21. Next up is a retro Philips CD player that I picked up for £3. That went for 27.50. I accepted an offer. Fees of 220, PayPal 114, delivery 378 because it came with a mains adapter. It was a retro model. It was a bit heavier. So my total costs there for selling it was £7.12, which meant I ended up with £20.39. Take away the cost of the actual player as well, I made £17.39. So very quickly from 27.50 down to 17.39, and that's a 63% profit and return. And then finally, another really nice item. It was a vintage Salter butcher's hook scale. Cost me £3, sold it for £33, so that's 11 times what I paid for it. £3 in eBay fees, £1.32 in PayPal, again £3.78 for delivery because of the cost. So the total cost of me selling it was £8.07 plus the £3 I obviously spent. So £11.07 is what it cost me to buy and sell this item for 33. So I ended up with £21.92 in my pocket. So if I scroll down to the bottom, this is quite a long spreadsheet. There you go. You can see that my total cost for the day in items was £8, and I turned over 90. So in a lot of cases, what you're going to see on your Facebook groups and on the UK Resellers Forum, which by the way everyone should join, really good forum, and it's building up nicely. Now this is the kind of figure that you'd expect to see bandied around, and indeed I myself will pop on the forum or on the Facebook group and go, hey, I had, did this or I did that. So my £8 has returned me £90 turnover, which sounds amazing, doesn't it? So I took 8 and I sold, I bought something for £8 in essence, and I sold it for 90. That's pretty amazing. But when you actually take away the 21.69 it costs me, plus plus the £8, so nearly £30, I end up with £60 of that money. So you can see 68.79 was my profit, not including that cost. So obviously take away that the initial cost of the investment. I've ended up with from £90 to £60 basically. Which is good. 67% profit and return. You can't go wrong. But it changes the whole the whole day, because in my head, I could quite easily go, I made 90 quid today. That's not a bad day's work for a weekday, sitting on my ass, not doing much. But really, I only made £60.79, and that's not including the tax I'm going to pay on that. So, I've actually earned a lot less than I would have done working at a shift at McDonald's today. So, that's the honest truth, the honest facts of the situation, and I just wanted to get that out there. And that's not to knock anyone that works at a McDonald's or works in a minimum wage job, because actually you're earning more money than I did on this day. The idea obviously with reselling is that you sell more than this and you do it more regularly, so your profits will improve. But that's just to give people an idea that it's very easy to get lost in the turnover figure. So in this case, the turnover was, like I said, 90 quid. I could say I had a £90 day. That's not bad. If I can make £100 a day, that's £700 a week. That's not bad. But really, you're not making anything like that. You'll be lucky to be making 60+% of profit on return on that. So, that's and those are with very good flips with higher margins. We're talking selling things for 11 times their value, or 10 times, or 2 to 30. That's 15 times. Really high flips. So bear that in mind, people. That's all I'm saying. So the whole idea of this video was just to make the beginner resellers out there, and maybe the veterans that have gotten used to banding around turnover figures, that they are exactly that. They're turnover, they're not profit. And it's always good to know what profit you are making, because obviously you're going to be paying taxes on this stuff, and you want to know whether what you're doing is worthwhile, and whether you need to change what you're doing. You might decide, wow, actually I'm only making 60 quid a day, that's not good enough. I need to branch out. Maybe I do need to go back to selling a few more clothes items because they're more readily available, or shoes, or whatever, and you can adjust what you're doing that way. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you've got any comments, please leave them in the comment section below. I really appreciate any comments that I receive, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. If you liked the video, thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Obviously, if you didn't like the video, then give it a thumbs down. That's appreciated as well. All feedback is appreciated. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you next time.